Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Dennis Wicker and Becki Gray, come August 1st, Dennis, you remember this, high school football teams typically suit up to start their practice for the fall season. There are big question marks this year. If students aren't in schools, there are questions whether the sport should be allowed. Then we got UNC that just found out on a college level that 37 of their players, coaches, and staff have tested positive for the virus. NC State has had 5 reported this past week. I want to know, what's your spin? Should high school and colleges play football this year? Should it be transferred to the spring? What do you think, Dennis?
I think, Tom, it's highly doubtful that they'll have football games this fall. You might have seen recently where the North Carolina High School Association spokesperson said that they thought that it was just too early to try to open up sports in North Carolina, particularly in high school. You had the outbreaks at the college level that you just mentioned. It's really one of those things that if we do that, we run the high risk, I think, of exploding this virus, and we'll have to shut down the season anyway. So why not take the safe course and hold off, maybe look at it later in the season, maybe October we could play limited games in high school or maybe college, but certainly make it so that we have the option to look at the spring as well. And spring football would be just fine with a lot of people, I can assure you.
Becki, this is a lot of dollars coming into our most universities. Football is a sport typically that generates a lot of dollars. How much of a factor is that going to be in this decision making, do you think?
Oh, I think it's a huge factor. You know, the CIAA has already decided they are going to delay their football until the spring, I believe. The ACC is looking at a delay. So, and as Dennis mentioned, the high school athletic folks are looking at this as well. So it's something certainly under consideration. Tom, you mentioned the money. It's a big moneymaker for the universities. It's also the big moneymaker for high schools, you know, with the ticket revenue that comes in. And with that pays for a lot of other things in the athletic departments, whether it's tennis or soccer or wrestling. You know, the football programs at all of these schools really do generate a lot of revenue that supports other things. The other thing that I've thought about with this is, you know, we have a lot of students, a lot of football players who are hopeful to get college scholarships, and in many cases may be the only way that they would be able to go to college. Yeah. And if you cancel the season or even delay it, then it puts our North Carolina athletes at a competitive disadvantage with other athletes from other states who may be moving forward with their football program.
But Dennis, don't you think all these other states are facing the same problems we are with this?
Absolutely. I mean, the same thing's going to happen. And again, let me emphasize this. What if they open the season, all of a sudden they have this huge outbreak of the coronavirus, and they have to shut it down? That would be devastating. It's going to have the same effect. I think we need to be very smart about this, Tom. I think we need to listen to science, make sure that we're on a solid footing whenever we open up an event that's going to create a crowd of people. This is a serious event that's happening in our world right now. And I think for us to just open up a football season without giving it much thought and depending on science, it's going to simply it's going to accelerate the situation.
Becki, this is a tough time to be a leader in almost anything. Churches are having these problems. Nonprofits are having these problems, like the symphony and our amateur theater and so forth. This is a tough time being a leader, isn't it?
It's a yes, it's all up and down the line. You know, as you mentioned, nobody signed up for this, but all of these leaders signed up to lead no matter what may come. And so, you know, that's something else as we move into November and, you know, as history is being written, you know, how these people respond and how they do lead us through this really does test their leadership. And again, nobody signed up for this.
I think that may have been one of the best statements that I've heard recently. I didn't sign up for this. Well, thank you for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.